Hi, and thanks for joining in this short tutorial. Once you've created a portfolio, you'll want to start adding your transactions. To do so, click the Add Transaction button. There are three types of transactions you can enter. The first tab is the one you'll use most frequently: add a stock or a fund to your portfolio. The second tab allows you to enter a cash transaction, while the third tab allows you to enter other types of holdings, such as real estate, artwork, or other assets. I'll cover these last two transaction types in another tutorial. I'm going to show you how to add a transaction for a stock. We'll start by typing in the symbol or the symbol's name and let the search box do its work. I'm going to select the stock, Apple. The action identifies your opening position. Did you buy the stock? Did you sell short? Enter the quantity and the date of the transaction. Before I backdate the transaction, take a look at the price. When I enter a new transaction, the portfolio will use the latest price available for the date of the transaction. Now, if I backdate this to when I actually bought the stock on May 1st, notice the portfolio will display the closing price of that entered date. If you paid any fees, you can record that here. Back when you created your portfolio, you identified whether dividends would be reinvested as new shares purchased. This field uses the default set for your portfolio, but you can always modify that on a per transaction basis. Our demo portfolio is set to reinvest dividends, so any dividend paid since I purchased this stock will be automatically added as new shares. You'll see this more clearly once we finish the transaction. Apple has had 2 dividends paid since we purchased it on May 1st, so we should expect to see more than 25 shares purchased in our portfolio once we're done. Whether or not transactions adjust your cash balance was also determined back when you created your portfolio. You can use the default you've set or override it here for the transaction. Our demo portfolio is created to adjust cash when transactions are created, so when I buy this stock, it's going to reduce my cash balance. Let's create the transaction and see what happens. The balance quantity for Apple is now at 25.07 shares. And let's open up the transaction history. I'm going to click the icon to the left of the symbol, and you will see the dividends that were reinvested. Also notice that your portfolio totals and cash balance at the very top of your page have been adjusted. I'm now going to record another purchase for Apple. I can click that Add Transactions button, but you can also use the More menu over here on the right and add to the position that way. I bought an additional 15 shares today. The important thing to note here is that my open position for Apple has been updated. I'll open the transactions to see the history, along with the average cost of the shares purchased. When you are ready to close out a position or to sell a portion of the shares, there are 2 ways to do this. Use the Add Transaction button, select the symbol, and then in the action, choose Sell. You can either enter the quantity sold or check the box to close out the entire balance of your position. The second way would be to use the More links at the right of the page and select Close Position. Your position is updated along with your portfolio summary and cash balance. You can add equity options transactions to your portfolio. Let me show you how easy that is. I'm going to click the Add Transaction button, type in the symbol, and instead of just clicking on the symbol name, hover over the exchange on the far right. You'll see it says Options. Here are all the expiration dates. And from there, you can select the option you want to create a transaction for. Likewise, to enter an option for a futures contract, I'm going to search for the futures symbol. And once I find the contract, hover over the exchange in the far right column. If you do not see the word options appear, that means that there are no options available for that contract, for that specific contract. Now, there are two other types of transactions, cash transactions and other transactions. These will be covered in a separate tutorial. Thanks for watching.